That really has to do with sleep. And so I would suggest, my suggestion to all of you would be to make sleep your number one life goal. There's literally not anything that is above sleep, because there's nothing that influences your conscious existence more. When I did a study with my company, Kernel, where I looked at my brain and we gauged my capacity to have willpower. And my willpower went down proportionally relative to how much deep sleep and how much REM sleep I got. And so the less REM and deep I had, the less self-control I had, which increased the likelihood that I would eat poorly that night, which would wreck my sleep again. And so if you want more power to be the person you want, you get more sleep. And this is why sleep is the number one priority, because then it has this domino effect in the opposite direction, leading to other positive things.
So evening Brian's power is correlated to how much sleep?
Sleep is your first remedy, your first medication, your first intervention. Nothing beats it in its power. Pop culture is a really great tool for us to speak a common language. It brings bridges between people's understanding. And one of the more remarkable stories that have been told over the past couple of years is Lord of the Rings. And who's seen Lord of the Rings for reference? Okay, good. So we have a lot of fluency. So you remember the battle at the end, Helm's Deep, the final battle. They go out and they try to get all the people of Middle-earth to convene and say, we are going to unite against this common enemy. And it's a story of each culture and their own proclivities. Some of these cultures have conflicts between them, but they come together and they ultimately prevail, but it's a long night and it's precarious. And I think in this moment, I would say all of us of Middle-earth, let us unite. And the foe is death. And to get there, however, you need to follow these steps we've talked about. You need to basically smooth out time. So my education is primarily of reality, is reading biographies. I love traveling in time and going back to the 15th century and the 13th century and the 17th century and trying to see what was happening then, and then who was able to see the future. Like pluck it out of the air, see it, endure all the hate that they got. Everyone thought they were crazy, that a few people might have grabbed. But it's a skill set that has been demonstrated throughout history. And so if you occupy that mindset, you say, the people in this room, you are building the future. You initiate endeavors that other people sign up for. You're shaping reality. And so in your mindset in doing this, if you can imagine the thought experiment of the future whispering in your ear, you can divorce yourself from time and place right now and say, all this is probably just going to go away. And then you can incorporate what is really happening, that algorithms are getting very good, they'll complement our abilities, they'll augment our abilities. So what is this longer term horizon? With that as your basis, you can build a future that is distinct from right now. Whereas if you build within the framework that's existent today, you'll be led to make certain decisions that are very 2024 centric. They're not 25th centric, and they may be blind to the realities of what's happening in this larger timescale. And this has, to me, been the most helpful thought experiment. And it would be remarkable if, as a species, if the solve of tribalism, which is the thing that provokes some of the worst acts of violence between humans, if we can solve that and bridge that with a united purpose. And Don't Die is the single most played game across the world every second of every day. It's number one. Capitalism is not even played as much. We breathe every few seconds. We have smoke detectors. We look both ways before we cross the street. We throw out moldy food. So if we say as a species, how could we possibly agree on anything? Don't Die is the only thing we can agree upon. You take one step above Don't Die, and we all disagree on everything, but we can't agree on one thing. And then you bridge that together with the basics of health and wellness. The revolution of the future begins with the food we eat, the time we go to bed, and specifically rejecting anything that accelerates your speed of aging and the onset of disease and death. But it's a revolution of thought, of behavior, of norms, and that's what I hope we can lock in, because there's no way this is happening if the community is isolated. It's really everyone together.